What's going on, RDC? Is your co-host Hector coming in with another 7 minutes with Heck. I know y'all love the last one, so check it out. We're going to go back into it, and we're going to go into another episode, which we'll get to in a little bit of what the title is, right? But first, once again, I want to thank you all for tuning in, listening, and allowing us to serve you. Because that's one of our core values here. See, whenever we tell you the truth, we're showing you love. That's out of love. Because you're not going to see a child that's doing wrong that could possibly harm them and not tell them the truth and correct them. So thank you for listening to the truth that is given to us that we may give to you. So, furthermore, let's get into the episode and let's preach some truth to you real quick. I just say it preach because it's finna be like, y'all finna hear it. So let's get into it. This is gonna be hashtag faith or flesh. Right? So I'm gonna tell y'all a little story really quick. My grandparents, I'm gonna talk about my grandparents. Excuse me if y'all may not like this, but I got to talk about my grandparents. My grandparents, two of them, I was never really close to. The other two, they were pretty cool. I still wasn't very close to them, but my mother's parents, my mother's mother died when she was 5, so I never got to meet her. My mother's father was, I think, 73 when he died from lung cancer, and I didn't meet him too much. He was mostly in Mexico, and he worked very hard. By that age, he was very, very crippled because of the extensive amount of labor that he took on with his body. And I look back on it, and it's kind of good that I didn't have a deep connection from it, because I'm able to look at the picture from outside the frame, right? So I look at it and I see that they didn't really accomplish much in life. Now, that's not to disrespect them, because them creating 13 kids, bringing them into the world, that's a feat in itself. You know, my grandpa passing on the not so great parenting that he passed on, the trauma that he gave to his children was great because it made his sons better men. Right? So on my dad's side of the family, they were a little more religious. They were a little more of a righteous people. And they had a better upbringing and foundation for my father. And they're still alive and kicking today. They still working right now. They're still working. They're in their 70s and they're still working. Right now, they are working with my other uncle that lives with them, right? So they are still working in a little business that they do, selling trash bags. And that's cool. You know, that's their own business. They got their own little niche going on there. That's great for them. That's great for what they do. But once again, I look at it as I don't believe they've lived up to their potential. Now, why do I say that? Because looking at my parents, I can see their beliefs were passed down. Because for my parents, I always learned what they always try to push on me: go to school, get a job, you know, be reasonable, right? And I look at all this psychology, you know, about how our brain was built for our survival. We have the fight or flight in our brain, the cortisol of chemicals in our body, that fight or flight hormone. And I realize that they lived in the flesh. So the reason that they chose that security, no shame to them, but they were surviving. They were not living because they did not feel the purpose that was given to them. Rather, fulfilled the purpose that was given to them. They did not live up to their potential, no matter how you cut it, because of that fear. See, if I was to listen and adhere to my parents' advice, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now, and I wouldn't be talking to any of you right now if I would have done that. I dropped out of school in ninth grade. I got my GED just for the heck of it. I knew I wasn't going to use it, but I got it. Just to tell them, show them I did something, but also shrug it off like I didn't need to do that. Almost to prove it to them. And I look at it as I'm walking by faith, because whenever we do something by faith, we're not using our body. We're not living by our body, rather. We're not letting our body dictate our mind. See, our faith lies in our heart. Our faith lies in our belief system, right? And that's exactly what faith is. Your faith is your belief. So whenever you truly believe something, just like I truly believed that school was not the way for me, look where I am now. See, they lived on fear. And that was passed down to my parents, which I almost inherited, right? Family beliefs are generational curses. And if I would have continued on that, who knows where I could have been? I could have been miserable at a job or college right now, whatever it may have been. I wouldn't have been where I was meant to be placed. See, we live by faith, and that's one of the biggest principles we have here, right? Embracing the spirit within us. That's what we do. So we can't practice what we preach unless we're practicing what we preach, right? So we implore you to do the same and stop living off of fear, because if you don't take that step of faith, you're always going to live in fear. Even if it's an act of courage, you don't have to believe it in the moment, but taking that step with courage, with fear, but still doing it, that's what courage is, right? Taking that step with courage is a step towards that faith, a step towards breaking those boundaries and breaking that paradigm that you were stuck in, breaking those beliefs that entrapped you in that root of safety and that root of living in the flesh. So that's the first step, is taking that step. So examine yourselves, each and every one of you hearing this message. What do I live by? Do I live by flesh, or do I live by faith? Examine yourself, because my grandparents, no disrespect to them, but they took no chances. They said, we're going to play it safe. So they were just surviving. Same way with my parents. They're just surviving. They played it safe. They worked their way up the company. But I'm not like that. I was literally cut from a different cloth, and that's God's cloth. So in order to show that I was cut from a different cloth, I have to walk by faith. I have to show it in the practices that we do, just like Lex, just like everybody on the team. We all do that. We walk by faith, not knowing what the next thing is, but trusting and believing. See, we could go and try to visualize all we want and but nothing ever goes as planned. So our faith from the Spirit is knowing that the Spirit will not lead us astray. And that's what we want you to do too, is embrace that Spirit to that potential. Embrace it to that magnitude, to where you just close your eyes and you walk, not knowing what your next step is, but taking that step regardless. Whether it be quitting your job and starting that business you always wanted to do. Whether it be taking that step to go and talk to the CEO and tell him you want a different position because you can do X, Y, Z. Whether it be you going and fixing your marriage, or asking that woman to marry you so that y'all can do what y'all were meant to do, whatever it may be, take that step of faith. Because we live by faith and not by the flesh. We're not animals. Animals have that survival instinct. Animals live to survive. We live for different reasons. We live with purpose. So if you want to find your purpose, you got to start. your walk of faith. So I hope this message really blessed you, and I hope you hear it. Play it again if you have to, and again and again and again until it dives deep in your head and you get the courage and build it up to just go, let's do it. Let's do it together. You're not alone in this. Let's take that step together and where you're calling to be stepping. So live by the faith and not by your flesh. So this has been 7 minutes with Heck. We doing it again. And thank you all once again for listening, tuning in. All these 17 plus syndicates. We need to get a better reading on where we're at and how many syndicates we got. But 17 plus for sure. And we thank you. We see you all over the world. And once again, we bless you with this word and with blessings that they may come over you. We only want nothing but to serve you. We only want nothing but your growth. We only want to lead you properly.